Hi, and welcome to 7 Steps to Conscious Eating. I am Wendy Thewison, owner of Raw Chef Wendy, LLC. I'm a certified chef, master herbalist, nutritionist, raw food coach, speaker, and author. And I'm here to talk to you today about eating consciously. I want you to think for a minute about how your health is. What symptoms are you experiencing? What chronic conditions have you been dealing with? Other issues may emotionally or in other ways that you have been suffering. And I would like you to take a moment and turn this to pause and write these things down. This is a really important list for you to be able to have, because as you go through this journey of raw food, you're going to forget about these health issues that you're experiencing now. So stop the recording for just a moment and go ahead and write these down on a piece of paper. Okay, now that you understand where you currently are, now I want you to take a look and think about, what do you want? What are the things in your life that you want? If we look at you as a whole person with your health at this moment, we've already taken a look at where you are. Now I want you to see what you want. Close your eyes for a minute and envision yourself. Look at your body, your hair, your eyes, your skin, the size and shape of your body. Are you happy with who you are and what you have? If not, why not? What is it that you want? This body that you have is the only body that you will ever have here on this earth, and it's important for you to take care of it. So we're going to teach you how to do that, but at this point, envision what it is that you want. This is your end goal. You can take a moment and do that. And then take your paper out and write down a few things about what you want. And again, you can stop this recording to do that. This is my family. I have 4 children and a wonderful husband, and we just really love and enjoy being around each other. I have been a pastry chef. Just a little bit about me. I was a pastry chef for quite a while. These are some of the cakes that I did. And I really loved to be able to use this as a medium for art. So as I was going through, I started when I was 12 years old and went through my life and, went through culinary school and learned how to do all of these amazing things with food. And I got to a point where I was addicted to sugar and struggling a lot with my health. I had a lot of symptoms and issues. Some you may be able to relate with. I had neck and back pain that was very severe. I could not get rid of it through chiropractic care or cranial sacral work or different things. I didn't really use herbs at the time. I had a high pain threshold, so I was used to pain. But this was kind of my comfort zone, I guess, was constant and daily pain. I also suffered from 28 years of chronic fatigue since I was 11 years old, just feeling like I was walking around like a zombie all the time, and I didn't know how it felt to be normal. I thought that was normal for everyone, that we just dealt with it. I suffered from Graves' disease with having to have thyroid surgery after a nodule was found during a doctor visit that I had, where I was going in for infertility treatments because I was having problems getting pregnant for the first 4 years of our marriage. And so all these things were happening. I had stuttering issues. I had brain fog. I couldn't remember or think. Just a lot of issues that I was dealing with. And I was at my breaking point one day. Actually, here's a list of a whole bunch of my symptoms. So maybe you can relate to some of this. Candida, I bruised easily, body odor, bloating, anemia, dehydration, depression, dry skin, graying hair, heart fluttering, hyperthyroidism, hypoglycemia. I had 9 amalgams, the mercury fillings that were causing problems. So a lot of issues there. I was eating the standard American diet, and this helps to increase rates of death in this family and death rates and disease in this country. People are sicker, fatter, and more unhealthy than ever before. And we have the highest rates of heart disease, cancer, and lung, among many other diseases. So this standard American diet that was created by the U.S. government and agricultural department is actually killing us. So we're wondering what in the world we're supposed to be eating, right? There are messages everywhere, and I was really frustrated in trying to understand what to eat. I didn't know. And I was at my breaking point in 2009, where I was on the couch and I was exhausted and in so much pain I wanted to take my life, but I didn't have the desire to do it myself, and I was pleading to God to take my life, and he said to me very distinctly, "Wendy, it's not your time yet. Go to the computer and look up nutrition." And I went to the computer and I found raw food, which is uncooked fruits, vegetables, sprouted nuts and seeds, fermented vegetables, and some sea vegetables. These are things that really help the body to be able to increase the energy and sustain life. And it's what I didn't have at the time. I was cooking all of my food. I was eating a heavy amount of meat and dairy. I had a lot of mucus and issues with inflammation and things that these foods will cause. And I didn't eat a lot of fruits and vegetables at that time, so my health was really in a difficult spot. But as I added raw foods to my meals, I started noticing changes within, right away actually. I started feeling more energy, and within 2 days I had energy I'd never known before. I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, which was unheard of for me, with energy, and it sustained itself throughout the day as I continued eating these amazing raw foods. And within a week, the pain was gone, and I felt like I had a whole new life. I wondered, as I was going through this process, obviously before I found raw food, how do I eat? What do I prepare? There's no cooking. What ingredients do I use? With the raw food, I wanted to know all these questions and also what these new ingredients were. Maca, lucuma, Irish moss, and cacao. Those were some of the things that I had read in a lot of the books that I had started studying about. And I wondered what in the world those were. I had a culinary background, but we didn't use ingredients like this, and so it was a completely new world for me. Education is power, and I started educating myself like crazy, getting books and online programs and all sorts of different things, trying to understand what to do so that I could get the raw food into my system and make it palatable, that I could enjoy the meals and my family would like them. And it wasn't always that way. My family didn't like all of the things that I created at the beginning. And I had to do a lot of tests and trial and error. I made a lot of mistakes and had to throw out a lot of expensive food, and it was pretty difficult. So we're going to talk now a little bit about what raw food is and why it's so important for our lives. Raw food contains enzymes. Enzymes are alive. They're needed for digestion, proper cell function, and repair. They're used by all of the systems in the body. They give us energy, and they're essential for a high quality of life. They can, however, be killed at temperatures above 130 degrees, and I usually keep the temperatures around 105, 115, because anything that's hotter than your finger is too hot for the enzymes or for your body. So you want to make sure that you don't kill these off, because they're what give you the energy and the life that you need. There are 3 classes of enzymes. There's metabolic, digestive, and food enzymes, and we're going to talk a little bit about each of these. Metabolic enzymes run all of our activities, even our thinking. We depend on them for good health and performance, and hundreds of these enzymes are needed every day for repairing and healing of damage and decay, as well as disease in every cell and tissue of the body. So these are very important enzymes that our bodies need to be able to function. When we're not receiving these enzymes, we have to take from our enzyme reserve that we're born with, and it really taxes the body a lot through digestion and having to run these different metabolic activities. if we don't have the enzymes from these metabolic enzymes, then we feel tired and run down a lot. And that's what I was experiencing. And maybe you are too. Digestive enzymes, they only have three main jobs. The protease enzymes digest protein, amylase enzymes digest carbohydrates, and the lipase enzymes digest fats. So they're very specific in their purpose and in what they do. Food enzymes come from the food that we eat. They help to take off the digestive load from the body, and they come from live food. So that's the uncooked raw foods that we're talking about, and sprouted nuts and seeds and those things that we talked about at the beginning. They help our enzyme reserve or our bank account of enzymes to reserve those so that we don't have to dip into that to be able to digest and do the processes of the body every day. So after meals, instead of feeling tired, we feel energetic because we've added more enzymes to our system to be able to do the jobs that our body needs. And it really gives us life and energy. Enzymes equal life and energy. Eating a high amount of raw food helps cleanse the body of impurities and toxins. Live enzymes from food give us energy. They aid in proper digestion. They nourish every cell of the body and help us eat less because our bodies absorb more nutrients. It helps me get rid of all my symptoms. So a lot of us go through and we eat emotionally. This can be very difficult because when we think of food, we get triggered. There are certain foods that we'll talk about that have emotions attached to them, and we tend to go toward these comfort foods to be able to cover up the emotions that maybe we don't want to experience. So we're going to talk a little bit about emotional eating now. The emotions that we can feel are either positive or negative. The positive ones, we become happy, we celebrate, go to parties, and we just, the holidays and all of these things, we celebrate these moments. And it's also very social. We get excited. Sometimes we feel calm or content or elated or peaceful. These are all positive emotions that are associated with different activities surrounding food. The negative emotions that we can feel are sad and frustrated, neglected, alone, anxious, afraid, depressed, resentful, and angry. So whether it's positive, if they're positive emotions, they move us toward pleasure. And if they're negative emotions, they move us toward pain. There are 7 steps to conscious eating. The first step is to stop and ask questions. The second is to use all 5 of your senses. Number 3 is slow down and focus on the moment while you're eating. 4 is creating a new experience around food. 5, create a positive intention around the food. 6, pray over the food to raise the vibration. And 7, get out of the kitchen and find something else to do. So we are going to talk about each of these 7 steps in detail now. Step 1 is stop and ask questions. Number 1, what do I really want? Do I want to eat fruits and vegetables? Do I want sugar, cake, donuts, candy, soda? Am I looking for bread? That actually is comfort that we're seeking. Or chips and cheese, the salt and fat, those are also comfort foods. Why do I want the food that I'm seeking? And when you stop and ask yourself these questions before you go into the kitchen, then you can start to become conscious in your eating. So you want to ask, why do I want it? And then identify the emotion that may be attached to the food that you're wanting. What is your motivation? Is it to soothe or comfort yourself, to numb out or cover up? Or is it to nourish your body? And that's good if it is, and for energy. Will it move you toward pleasure or pain? Then the third question to ask after you've had these questions, the first 2 answered, is what will I do to, or what will it do to me afterward? So what will be the reward that you'll get, whether you get the energy and vitality that you're searching for, or will it make you feel pain in your body? Will you feel tired and fatigued? Will you just feel numb? Those are things to be conscious about. Number 4, do I desire the consequences that are good or bad? If you want something that's bad, why? Why are you self-sabotaging? Why are you taking that sugar in to cause pain? So I want you to get really clear about the why, especially if it's something that you're trying to do to yourself that's not good, it's harmful. Is there something else that would benefit me more? That's the final question that is really important. So after you've analyzed the first 4 questions, then ask yourself, is there something else that would benefit me more? So this helps you to identify the triggers that may be associated with food and helps you to make better choices. This is a good thing for you to print and put up um, in your, on your refrigerator or someplace outside of the kitchen so that you can ask those questions. What cravings may mean? Sugar might mean desire for love or sweetness in life. So that's something, if you're drawn to sugar, maybe you don't have enough sweetness in life, and that's something that you can start searching for an understanding of how to gain that more outside of food. Fat is often the desire for comfort. Salt is the desire for relaxation and go with the flow. Crunchiness is unexpressed anger or wanting attention. Spicy food is a desire for intensity and action. Caffeine is the desire for control and calm in life. Bread and soft foods are the desire for comfort. Ice cream is the desire for freedom and being carefree like a child. And cheese is in need of nurturing. It comes from mother's milk, and so it's very nurturing. And I would add milk to that as well. As you're thinking about all of these things and becoming more conscious in your efforts while you are eating, something that's really important to start doing is to use all 5 of your senses. We are sensual beings. We were created with these 5 senses, and so when we can tap into those, we can have this incredible sensual experience with good food. So when you are eating, put the plate in front of you and take a look at it. How does it look? What are the colors that you can see? What are the different textures that you can see? Just kind of sit there and soak in the sight of your food. And it's good to do this when nobody else is around, where you have maybe 20 to 30 minutes that you can just really have an experience with your food. I promise it will change the way that you look at food. Then after you sit and look at your plate and just really appreciate the things that are on your plate and even give thanks for it, then smell it. What are the smells that you can detect? Can you smell anything from it? Can you smell the spices, maybe the citrus on it? What are the smells that you have? And then as you identify those smells, are they bringing up any emotions for you or any memories? Our smell is one of the most intense senses that we have. It's associated with memory. And so we're able to recall memories when we have certain smells around us. This is why essential oils or flowers or different things like that, when you smell it, you'll be able to remember certain things. So just get in tune with the smell of your food. Then the sound. What does it sound like? And I would actually put touch in front of sound. Sound should be at the end. But you would want to pick up your food with your fork, and even if you can touch it with your hands, feel the texture of it. And how big or small it is, if it's smooth or rough. Just get in tune with the sense of touch with your food. And then as you put it in your mouth to taste it, you'll also hear that sound, the crunch or the juiciness or whatever sound is associated with that, and then taste it. There are a lot of different receptors around all sides of your tongue, and so you can find salt and bitter and sweet and all of these things on different parts of your tongue. So get in tune with that. Where are those places that you can taste the difference in each piece of food? And then as you taste this food, are you attracted to it? Now that you're open and conscious, do you really like it? This is something I did when I was trying to stop eating meat, and there was a point where I had been eating so much of the raw food that I went back to eat some meat, and I didn't like the taste anymore because my taste buds had changed so much. And I did this experiment with it. I looked at it and it didn't really look that appealing to me. It looked and smelled like a dead animal. And then I put it in my mouth and I didn't like the texture and I didn't like the taste, and so I spit it out. And these are things to become conscious with as well, because you might be stuffing your mouth full of food that you don't really like, but because you're not in tune and not conscious with what you're doing, maybe you're watching television or reading a book or talking, and you're just shoving this food in your mouth. If you don't really like it, you can't tell because you're not in tune. So this little exercise will help you to be in tune and to start feeling the food. It actually becomes a part of your body. And when you become conscious in these ways, it can really help you with addictions and other issues that you may be experiencing with food. The third step is to slow down and focus. Make time for your meals and snack breaks. Schedule time around yourself, your family, and basic needs. Learn to say no and clear your schedule. Get rid of distractions like television and books and things. Focus on your self-care. You are the most important to take care of so that you can help take care of your children and your family and others. So make sure that your self-care is at one of the top parts of your list. Go out into nature and enjoy 20 to 30 minutes savoring every bite, just like we talked about. Close your eyes and enjoy the moment. Oftentimes I'll go out into the sunshine in the summer, spring, summer, and fall, and I just sit there with my food and close my eyes and feel the sunshine and the warmth come on my body. And then I'm able to sit and eat and really enjoy and experience this sensual experience with my food. And I eat less and I enjoy it so much more. Number 4 is create an experience. Be mindful when preparing your food. Infuse love into it. Set the table nicely to create a certain mood or theme to make it fun. Think positive thoughts about family and mealtime. Don't sit and argue over things. Talk kindly to one another and keep conversations positive. Find healthier alternatives to traditional comfort food. Eat for energy and hunger instead of pleasure or pain. And it helps, like I said, to take that piece of paper with the questions on it, to stop yourself before you even go into the kitchen and ask those questions so that you can eat for pleasure instead of pain. And then ask for help with preparation and cleanup and enjoy bonding time over food. This helps relieve your stress and theirs too. When I was a young mother with these kids who were so needy, I got so frustrated at times because they wouldn't say thank you for the meal and they wouldn't help out afterward. They just run away from the table and go off and play. And I felt like I was spending so much time in the kitchen and, for what? There was no thanks involved. As I became resentful of those things, I started to take a look at my own personal thoughts and feelings about my family, and the resentment that I felt had gotten so bad I didn't want to make food for them anymore. And so I had to change my thoughts about food and my thoughts about my family. And I had to step back and start realizing, this is for me to share my love with them. It's something that I enjoy, that I can create a meal for them and infuse that love. And so I started thinking positively about my family and sharing this beautiful bounty that we were blessed with. And my attitude changed, and I didn't mind cleaning up and doing things, but as my attitude changed and I asked for help, then they started to respond and came and helped me with the preparation and cleanup. So it was a win-win situation, but before they didn't want to be around me, so they'd run off and do what they wanted. So if that's something that you're dealing with in your family, you might want to change that. Here are some goofy pictures. This is some friends that came over and were helping us bottle some pickles, and this is my husband to the right. We were at a restaurant, and he picked up the chopsticks and acted like a walrus. And he's a pretty goofy guy, and we really have a good time at meals. So bring your humor into it as well and make it a fun experience. Number 5 is have a positive intention. If you're used to punishing yourself with food or numbing out, change your intention around the food. Look at healthy food in a new light. Look at it as nourishing, energizing, strengthening, cleansing, healing, beautiful, safe, empowering. and even your friend that you love and that loves you back. It's something that will help you to be able to heal your body as you change your attitude about the food. Pray or meditate over your food. All of these things increase energy surrounding your eating experience, but prayer is one of the most powerful in raising the vibration of the food, and it actually changes that. I heard of some Tibetan monks that took poison and they prayed and meditated over the poison, and then they each ingested it and nothing happened to them. It's because they were able to raise the vibration of that poison and neutralize it so it didn't go into the body and harm them. I thought that was pretty incredible. So even, people will ask me, well, I get conventional food and can't get all organic and all these things. Pray over it and ask that the food be changed to make it nourishing to your body and help in the healing and repair. The energy will come into that food and bless your body with it. Get out of the kitchen. If your life seems to revolve around food, get out of the kitchen and find other things to focus on. Create a hobby, time with family and spouse. This is my husband and I. We took the family out to bowling and had a really good time. And we also love to go visit national parks on vacation. So on the right, there's some rocks that we saw down in southern Utah. Take a class, go on vacation, and have fun. Food does not need to be the center of your life. It can be one of those things that you enjoy for social situations or for pleasure at times, but it's really the fuel that gets us what we need in our body. If you can look at it more as fuel to give you the energy so that you can accomplish the things that you want to in your life, then that will help your mindset to get out of those addictions and bad habits. How we eat determines how we feel, and how we feel determines how we eat. This is really important. Depending on if we're stressed out or we feel fat or ugly or frustrated, stressed, tired, all of these types of things will determine how we eat. And then we're eating according to how we feel. So if we can take the emotion out of the food and just ask those questions and become conscious about what we're doing, then we don't have to have such emotional eating happening. I want you to understand that you hold the power to live an amazing and active life. This is important because a lot of times people have this attitude of life doing things to them, that they're the victim of their circumstances. And that's not what life is about. We are the creators of our lives. We can choose each and every day what we put into our mouths at every moment, what we choose not to put into our mouths so that we can have a better outcome. And you hold that power. So it's all about our choices, and it comes down to even the smallest choice of taking just one bite of something. When I was dealing with my food addiction, I learned that, I was paying attention. I started becoming conscious of my body and my decisions, and I learned that when I was frustrated, I would go to cakes and sugary treats and things because I was lacking that sweetness in life. And so as I became conscious, I started to understand that I had a choice to not take that first bite. It was like an alcoholic going in, having that choice. You don't have to go into the bar. Once I made that choice, however, something took over, and I felt like I couldn't stop until I felt sick. So the choice needs to be made at the very beginning. When you are tempted with that bite, don't take it. Put it aside and start asking yourself questions and becoming conscious as to your situation and what you're doing and your intention by eating that food that may not be very good for your body. And sometimes it's okay. We want to be able to have those experiences. But as you're eating it, ask questions. Why did I choose to eat this? Why do I want to put this into my body? And then be conscious about what happens to your body after you eat it. For me, a lot of times I would go through and I would eat the sugary cake or whatever. Sometimes it would get to a point where I'd eat 3 or 4 pieces of cake. and I'd start feeling sick. So I paid more attention to those feelings of, okay, I had that moment of pleasure, but it lasted maybe a few minutes and sometimes a few seconds. But then it turned to a part where I wasn't feeling good at all, and that would last for hours and sometimes days as a result of eating, giving into that temptation. So what are you experiencing? Become really um, conscious about that, and then understand that you do have a choice, okay? You're not a victim of this, and you can choose better. And if you don't choose great, then you have the next time that you eat that you can choose better. Celebrate those times that you do well. I want you to know it took me 7 years of trial and error to overcome my sugar addictions and these behaviors that I had associated with eating disorder and different things like that. And I have learned some powerful tools to be able to help. Let me show you how to do this in substantially less time. The first step is, like we talked about, make a list of your symptoms. If you haven't done that, make sure you stop this and get it done because you need to have that as a reference point. The second step is to drink a green smoothie. This is so vital. If you do just one thing, do this. Drink a green smoothie every day. In the mornings, I'll make a green smoothie and I will drink the entire blender full throughout the day. I had to work up to this. I could only take maybe a half a glass at first and then worked up to it. But this helps with cleaning out the body and the system, and it really drives in a lot of nutrients into the system so that your cells can repair and all the damage that you've done over all of these years, it can start to repair and heal. Our bodies were made to heal. And all we need to do is give it the right tools. So this green smoothie is one of the most important things that you can do. You can get my green smoothie recipe in my one-day raw food challenge. You can download it at rawchefwendy.com for free, and I also have a booklet form for $8.50. You can buy that on my website at rawchefwendy.com. Some people like to have it in physical form, and it's a really beautiful book. So this has a day full of affirmations, tips and tricks for success, tracking pages for before and after so you can see your progress, menu plan for the day, which is breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner, and dessert, shopping list, recipe section with step-by-step instructions, has beautiful pictures, just like the ones that are shown here, and it has all of the recipes to be able to support you in what you're needing. This is a great way for you to get started because it's a very simple step that you can take. And I've had clients that have used this for weeks and even months on end to be able to get the food, the raw food in there. So I hope that you enjoy that free gift. There is so much to learn, and this is some of the raw food that I've created. I do a lot of simple dishes, but I do some more complex. It all just depends. I entertain and enjoy that, and I help clients with different things as well. But my desire for you is to be able to teach you simple, easy, and delicious meals that are mostly raw food that you can really nourish and strengthen and cleanse your body with. I have 2 books, Reasonably Raw and Beautifully Raw, that are available on my website as well. And the Reasonably Raw is wonderful because it helps to give you the tools that you need to be able to transition over from the standard American diet. This actually is the book that I use most of the recipes out of for my family. And it would be a great springboard for you and your family to be able to start introducing a lot more raw fruits and vegetables and to get the heats down to a lower heat so that you're not ruining the enzymes in your meals. You can still do soups and sauces and casseroles and dishes like this, but if you do it at a lower heat, then it will really help. The Beautifully Raw book is an all-raw food book, and it has things like the chocolate pudding and a rainbow salad. Look at all the beautiful colors. And those are pizza rolls. So I use a lot of different raw ingredients to be able to help people to have some of the food that they feel like they want, like the pizzas and different things, but that are very cleansing, nourishing, and strengthening to the body. So this is an excellent resource for that. If you don't want to eat all raw, but you want to have both books to kind of go back and forth with, and you can even add a little bit of meat or cheese or dairy or eggs to the Beautifully Raw recipes as well. This gives you a couple hundred different recipes to be able to work with. So you can purchase it on rawchefwendy.com. Right now it's actually $16.99. That covers the cost of the shipping for each, or you can do both for $29.99. So order your copy at rawchefwendy.com/recipe or slash books. You can see it right there. I kind of messed that up. Other options that I have for you available are chef services. I am able to do recipe makeover consultations. We can do this in person or over the phone or through Skype, depending on where you live. I do private chef courses in your home or in my home. And again, we can do that through Skype as well. And kitchen makeover consultation can also be done through Skype, or I can come to your home and take a look at your kitchen and see what areas you could organize the food to get rid of, things that you can make into better meals using more raw fruits and vegetables. So you don't have to get rid of all of your food, but we can make really good meals for you out of what you have. A food makeover, grocery shopping, and restaurant trip. These are group and private options that are available. So contact me about what you are looking for. I can create pretty much any program for you that is tailor-made for you so that you can get what you need. I also do Little Chef and Chef Junior classes, themed classes like Italian, Mexican, Asian, all these types of classes. And then you can host a class or event in your area as well. Sign up for a free 30-minute strategy session with me to discuss your options. And you can do that, again, in the contact area of my website at rawchefwendy.com. I also have some online programs that are available. The Raw Inspiring series for the Reasonably Raw and Beautifully Raw. They correlate with my recipe books. And I have a lot of videos and things about knife skills and equipment that I suggest, how to cut fruits and vegetables, how to sprout, all of the tips and tricks that you need to be able to be successful with the raw food world. And these online programs are available. You can go to rawchefwendyuniversity.com and take a look at those. Choose one of the programs for only $1.99 or both of them for $3.49. So you get a $50 discount if you do both of them. Isn't it time to make you a priority? I want you to know that you are special. You are put here on this earth for a purpose. And sometimes when we get to these points of desperation, we allow the emotions to come in. We don't deal with those, and so we shove them down with food. We are not living our purpose. My desire is to help you to be able to live that purpose and to have the energy and stamina to be able to forget about the kitchen and just go out and do what you were created to do here on this earth. I hope that these things have helped you, and I am here for you for support and to bless your life with better health. You do not have to live your life in pain and discomfort. There is a better way, and I've been able to achieve tremendous comfort and a much higher sense of well-being and quality of life. I'm now symptom, pain, and medication free, and I love living this way. I rarely get sick, and it's a wonderful thing. I hope that this information has helped you, and again, contact me if you have questions, and please get going on your one-day raw challenge and the recipe books and the online program, whatever you feel fits best for you. Have a wonderful day and make it a wonderful life for yourself. Thank you.